We left things with Gilgamesh and Enkidu having a good old wrestling match and declaring each other life partners. We come back to Gilgamesh taking Enkidu to meet his mum, which, considering she may or may not have been a god at this point, seems like a big deal so early in the relationship. "Mum, check out my BF, isn't he dreamy?" Ninsun, having the hookup upstairs, exposited on Enkidu's origin story. Enkidu was created by a god and born in the wilderness. He had no kith nor kin to raise him, nor cut and style his luxurious locks. This revelation upset Enkidu, and Gilgamesh took Enkidu's hands into his own. "Dear heart, why do your eyes brim with tears? Why do your arms fall limp, your strength ebb away? I don't know, man, I just feel weak and glum." "Alright, Kiki, I know just what you need. A road trip. We'll pop over to the Cedar Forest, kill the monstrous Huawa, and chop down some nice timber. Bish bash bosh, fame and glory." Enkidu was frankly not impressed. Gilly, Enlil himself charged Huawa with guarding the Cedar Forest. His voice is the deluge, his speech is fire, his breath is death. We'd be crushed. Ugh, quit being such a drag. Where's my Enkidu who scared off lions with his pecs, eh? Come, let's hie to the forge. So encouraged, Enkidu joined Gilgamesh in the forge, and the two had a small arsenal of axes and daggers cast for them. Now, Enkidu wasn't the only one with misgivings. While preparations were underway, Gilgamesh addressed his people. "My people, Kiki and I are off to kill Huawa. Give me your blessing, and I will return having carved my name on history, and we'll have a killer New Year's party, alright?" The people of Uruk were understandably shocked, and the city elders pleaded with Gilgamesh. "My king, forgive my impertinence, but this is God's damned suicide. You're being borne along by emotion. Huawa's speech is fire. His breath is death." Enkidu already gave me all that, as if I'd let a small matter like blinding terror get between me and cultural immortality. Eventually, of course, the elders gave in. "Alright, sire, you have that I won't change my mind look. Just let Enkidu lead. He knows the land, and he's a canny warrior. Don't just rely on your own raw strength. Make each hit count." And to Enkidu, they said, "Bring him back safe, okay?" Enkidu would have replied, but Gilgamesh was already dragging him off. "Alright, first stop is Queen Mum Ninsun." And off they went hand in hand to the Palace Sublime. "Alright, Mum, we're off on a road trip. Gonna fight Huawa. Could you, put in a good word upstairs?" Ninsun was understandably concerned at this news. She got all glammed up for a godly chat, lit some ritual incense, and beseeched the sun god Utu. "Oi, listen here, you shiny tosser, this is all you're doing. Why'd you make my son so restless? Now he's decided to fight a ferocious monster, and you know what he's like once he gets an idea in his head. You better keep an eye on him, you hear? Let rise 13 winds and Huawa's face darken. Let the weapons of Gilgamesh then reach Huawa." She returned to the boys and made her will known. "Alright, Enkidu, you're not my son by birth, but by my word you're now as good as. A son-in-law, if you will. All Gilgamesh's holy folk are now yours as well. Congrats. Just keep my son safe." With the tentative approval of all Uruk, and having left some instructions not to wreck the place, Gilgamesh and Enkidu performed the rituals of safekeeping and left on their epic quest. 3 days travelling passed, with the adventurers covering the march of a month and a half. They paused their progress towards Mount Lebanon in order to prophesy the way ahead. Before Utu the sun, they dug a well and poured in fresh water. Then Gilgamesh climbed a nearby mountain, poured out flour as an offering, and uttered his solemn request.
"Mr. Mountain, bring me a tree, fill it with omens of uplifting theme. Show me the way to defeat Huawa, and make sure that my living days aren't over."
Meanwhile, Enkidu was erecting a shelter, the House of the Dream God, which I can only assume makes him a third-level bard. Gilgamesh sat in the shelter, rested his head on his knees, and went to sleep. And dream he did, finding himself in a mountain valley. All of a sudden, the very mountain itself rose and fell upon him. Trapped, he saw a man, radiant and calming. The man pulled him from beneath the mountain and gave him water to drink. Then Gilgamesh awoke, and, as is his style, told Enkidu about his dream. "Fear not, Gil. This is a good omen. It means we're going to slay Huawa and throw his body down on the field of battle. The bloke handing you water is your divine dad, Lugalbanda. honouring you. They travel another few days, set up the dream ritual again, and Gilly wakes up to a nightmare again, this time fretting about a bull he was grappling and another guy giving him water. Enkidu reassured him. The bull is sun god Utu, who's going to grasp our hands in time of peril. The bloke was Lugalbanda, honouring you again. Gilly, with our forces combined, we are going to be able to do something no one has ever done. Another 3 days and another dream ritual later, and Dream Gilgamesh finds himself in God's damned pandemonium. Earthquakes, ear-rending thunder, the day staying dark save for lethal lightning and ferocious fires. Scary stuff, and of course, Enkidu gets another earful. No worries, Gilly, this again is actually good. We're getting closer to the Cedar Forest, and you're feeling the aura of its guardian, our quarry, Huawa, who, I remind you, we're basically destined to defeat. Another 3 days, and you get it. Dream 4 went thus. This time, Gilgamesh saw a thunderbird, soaring high above, breathing fire. Then a giant of a man appeared, bound its wings, and cast it down before Gilgamesh. Once more, Enkidu explained. This is favourable, for while you shall be fearful, and no wonder, Huawa is fucking horrifying. The man you saw was once more fair and just Utu. With his favour, we're laughing. At last, the final 3 days, the final dream ritual, the final dream, is missing. I don't think I've mentioned yet how broken these ancient tablets are, go figure. What I'm telling is a bit of a patchwork from various different texts, but we can safely assume that Gilgamesh has a nightmare, gets nervous, and Enkidu explains why it's actually an omen for their success. The time drew near when the two heroes had the Cedar Forest in their sights. The two were having doubts about this whole venture when a voice called down from the heavens. The sun, illustrious Utu himself, advised the pair. Alright lads, listen. You'll want to get in there sharpish. Don't let him get way back to his grove. He's only got the one cloak of armour at the moment, but there's 6 more where that came from. I've got your backs, champs. Now, have at it. A terrible roar then sounded from the forest. Hey, Kiki. Yeah, Gil? What we're doing, this is nuts, right? It's pretty nuts, Gil. Should we go back? No. Enkidu looked at Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh, king of Uruk. My arms are stiff, my knees are shaking, but damn it, we are marching into that forest and we are going to take down that monstrous creature. Enkidu. You're right, of course. Why do we speak like weaklings? Was it not we who crossed these mountains? We who see this vast forest before us now? Before we leave this place, we will have joined in battle, toppled fearsome Huawa, and felled some godswood. We are mighty warriors! Let the stiffness leave your arms, and let your shout resound like a drum. Take my hand, Enkidu, and we shall go on together, and make our name known long into the future. So it was that they at last arrived, at the edge of the Cedar Forest, of Huawa's domain.